He thought my idea was his ticket. I made sure it was his prison sentence. Man, sometimes life, especially work life, just blindsides you. You think you're on a path, building something cool, trusting the people around you, and then bam, the rug gets pulled out from under you so fast you don't even know what hit you. That was me, about 18 months ago. My name's Alex, by the way. I'm 38 now, but back then, I was a bright-eyed, slightly less cynical, 36-year-old software engineer. For the last 7 years, I'd been pouring my heart and soul into a tech startup called Innovatech Solutions. Sounds fancy, right? We were small, scrappy, trying to make a dent in the competitive world of enterprise software. Our CEO, Mr. Davison, let's call him Dave for short, because Mr. Davison sounds way too formal for the snake he turned out to be. He was in his late 40s. Smooth talker, always dressed impeccably, loved schmoozing with investors. He could sell ice to an Eskimo, that guy. He wasn't a tech guy, not really. He was a salesman who happened to be running a tech company. I was the lead developer, the guy who actually built the stuff alongside a small, dedicated team. For about 2 years, I'd been working on this passion project. My baby. In my own time, late nights, weekends, it was a revolutionary piece of AI-driven analytics software, something I called Project Insight. It had the potential to completely change how businesses understood their customer data. I knew it was big, like game changer big. I'd shown early prototypes to Dave and he seemed interested, supportive even. He kept saying, "Alex, this is brilliant. Keep working on it. This could be huge for Innovatech." So I did. I refined it, added features, ran simulations. I was so naive. I trusted him. I thought we were a team, building something together. I even started preparing a detailed business plan, a pitch deck for Project Insight, thinking this was going to be my chance to really shine, maybe even get a significant stake in this new venture. About a year ago, just as Project Insight was reaching a point where it was almost market ready, Dave called me into his office. His big, fancy corner office with a city view. He was all smiles, real friendly. "Alex," he said, leaning back in his leather chair, "we've been looking at the company's direction and we're making some strategic realignments. Your role? It's being eliminated. Effective immediately." Just like that. No warning, no discussion. Eliminated? I remember stammering. "But Project Insight? It's almost ready. It's gonna be massive for us." Dave gave me this patronizing little smile. "Ah, yes, Insight. Good effort, Alex, really good. But we've decided to go in a slightly different direction with our core products. Your skills, while valuable, don't quite fit that new vision. It's just business, you understand." Lies. All lies. I asked about severance. 7 years of loyalty, building their flagship products, and then Project Insight on top of it. He just waved his hand. "Company's in a tight spot right now, Alex. Can't afford big payouts. Standard package only. You'll get your final paycheck." Which was basically nothing. I was stunned, devastated, kicked to the curb after pouring years of my life and my best idea into that company. He had me escorted out by security like I was some kind of criminal. It was humiliating. I went home just numb. My dream, Project Insight. The thing I'd sacrificed so much for. Gone. Stolen, I suspected, but how could I prove it then? They thought that was the end of Alex. The quiet tech guy, easily discarded. They thought I'd just lick my wounds and disappear. They thought I was just another coder. They had no idea what I really was, and they certainly had no idea about the secret I knew, the one that wasn't in any code. See, while Dave was busy being the charismatic CEO, schmoozing investors, and apparently stealing ideas, I was the guy in the trenches. The guy who set up their entire IT infrastructure, their servers, their cloud storage, their communication systems, their financial backend, everything. And when you build a system, you know where all the back doors are. You know where the logs are kept. You know where the digital skeletons are buried. About 3 years ago, long before Project Insight was even a twinkle in my eye, I stumbled across something unusual. I was doing a routine server maintenance deep in the system logs, and I found a hidden partition, heavily encrypted, not part of our regular operations. My curiosity got the better of me. Over a few weeks, late at night when no one was around, I managed to crack the encryption. What I found inside, it was Dave's personal piggy bank, and not in a good way. It was a meticulously organized archive of shell corporations, offshore accounts, falsified invoices and wire transfers, evidence of systematic tax evasion, money laundering and defrauding investors on a massive scale. Millions of dollars siphoned out of Innovatec and into Dave's personal accounts over the years. He wasn't just a smooth talker. He was a sophisticated white-collar criminal. And I had the digital keys to his entire illicit kingdom. I made copies. Multiple encrypted backups. Stored them securely, off-site. I didn't do anything with it then. It wasn't my fight, not directly. And honestly, part of me was scared. This was big league crime. But I kept the data, just in case. My own little insurance policy against a system I was starting to realize was deeply corrupt. When Dave fired me, when he stole Project Insight, that insurance policy suddenly became my retribution protocol. He thought he was just firing a developer. He had no idea he was firing the one person who knew exactly how to bring his entire house of cards crashing down. The anger was there, yeah. A cold, hard knot in my gut. But it wasn't wild, uncontrolled rage. It was focused, calculated. He stole my idea. He stole my job. He tried to steal my future. Okay, game on. I didn't rush. I took a few weeks. Let the dust settle. Let him get comfortable in his stolen glory. I even saw a press release from Innovatec about a month after I was fired, announcing a revolutionary new AI analytics platform that was going to disrupt the industry. They'd renamed Project Insight to something bland like Synergy AI, but I recognized my code, my architecture, in the vague descriptions. The audacity was breathtaking. That's when I knew it was time. I didn't go to a lawyer for wrongful termination. That was small potatoes. I went to someone bigger, someone with more teeth. I spent days packaging my evidence, the server logs, the encrypted files, the wire transfer records, details of the shell corporations, even cross-referencing them with publicly available financial data. I put together a timeline, a clear, undeniable narrative of Dave's criminal enterprise. It was over 100 pages, with digital backups of everything. Then, I made an anonymous call to the IRS Criminal Investigation Division, and then another one, to the SEC's whistleblower office. I didn't give my name, I just told them where to look. I laid out the broad strokes of the fraud, mentioned specific shell corporations, and told them I had irrefutable proof that I would deliver to a secure PO box. I sent the package, tracked delivery, and then I waited. It took about 3 months. 3 long months of silence, where part of me wondered if I'd been too clever, if it had all just disappeared into some bureaucratic black hole. Dave, in the meantime, was flying high. Innovatec launched Synergy AI with a huge marketing blitz. He was on the cover of a couple of minor tech magazines, hailed as a visionary. The irony was almost too much to bear. He was literally profiting from my stolen work while his criminal empire hummed along beneath the surface. Then, on a Tuesday morning in late October, it happened. I was at home working on some freelance coding gigs I'd picked up to stay afloat. My phone buzzed with a news alert. CEO of Innovatec Solutions, David Davison, arrested in connection with multi-million-dollar fraud scheme. I clicked the link, and there it was. news reports, photos of Dave, Mr. Charisma himself, being led away in handcuffs from his fancy office building, the same building I'd been escorted out of just a few months earlier. The reports detailed a massive investigation into tax evasion, wire fraud, and money laundering. They mentioned anonymous tips, crucial evidence provided by a whistleblower. They mentioned offshore accounts, shell corporations, my data, my archive, my insurance policy. The fallout for Innovatech was catastrophic. Their stock, which had been climbing thanks to the hype around Synergy AI, my Project Insight, plummeted to zero overnight. Investors pulled out, clients panicked. The company imploded within weeks. All that visionary leadership from Dave couldn't save it when the foundation was built on lies and theft. Dave's life went from magazine covers to a federal indictment. The evidence I provided was overwhelming, irrefutable. His high-priced lawyers tried every trick in the book, but they couldn't argue with cold, hard data. He was found guilty on multiple felony counts. Last I heard, he got a sentence of 12 years in a federal penitentiary. 12 years. For stealing my idea, my job, and millions from everyone else. The best part? Remember? Project Insight. My baby. With Innovatech bankrupt and its assets being liquidated, the intellectual property rights were a mess. My lawyer, a sharp woman I hired after the feds moved in, to handle my whistleblower claim and secure my IP, managed to argue successfully that since Synergy AI was based entirely on my pre-existing documented work, which I developed largely in my own time, and since Innovatech acquired it under fraudulent pretenses by firing me to steal it, the rights should revert to me. And they did. After a bit of legal wrangling, Project Insight was mine again. All mine. The whistleblower rewards from the IRS and SEC, let's just say they were substantial. More than enough to start my own company. For real this time. With Project Insight as the flagship product. No smooth-talking CEOs who didn't understand the tech. Just me, my code, and a small dedicated team of people I actually trust. So, yeah, Dave stole my startup idea and then fired me. He thought he was smart. He thought he was powerful. He thought he could just take what he wanted and discard people like me. He had no idea I knew his dirty little secret. He had no idea that the quiet coder he fired was the one holding the keys to his entire criminal empire. He had no idea that by trying to steal my future, he was just fast-tracking his own downfall. And man, watching that downfall, that was a system reboot I truly enjoyed. What about you? Ever had someone try to steal your work or your future? How did you handle it? Let me know in the comments.